Are you thinking about moving to the Chicago suburbs? Here are the top 5 reasons why I hate living here. Just a quick little disclosure, I don't actually hate living in the suburbs. This is really just a list of things that I dislike. I've lived in the Chicago suburbs my entire life, so I'm here to share with you the good, bad, and the ugly, so you know if this is the right place for you to live. Be sure to stick around until the end to find out what the worst thing about living here is and the number 1 mistake that you will not want to make. The first thing I hate about living in the suburbs is that it is necessary to have your own car. Most suburbs are not very walkable and they don't have great public transportation. Most places I need to go to are at least 15 to 20 minutes away driving without traffic, which means that it would take 3 to 4 hours to walk that distance. You may get lucky and be in an area near a corner store or a strip mall. However, many suburban neighborhoods do not have any businesses within walking distance. Not only is everything more spread out, but there also aren't always sidewalks. Most cities in the suburbs do have buses, however, they are not convenient to take, so most people do not use them. And we don't have options like the subway or streetcars either. We do have Uber and Lyft in most places, but they are usually long wait times and the cost of ride shares can add up pretty quickly. Locally, you could ride a bike, but again, there aren't always sidewalks and it could still take a while to get where you're going. Between the lack of walkability and public transportation, this makes it hard to get anywhere in the suburbs without a car. Which takes me to the second thing that I hate about living in the Chicago suburbs, is that most businesses aren't open 24 hours. Unlike the city, where you can find a late night spot for almost anything, the suburbs can feel like they shut down early. This means if you need something late at night or early in the morning, you're often out of luck. Whether it's a quick grocery run, a late night coffee craving, or an urgent pharmacy trip, you have to wait until the morning when business is open. This can be really inconvenient, especially if you're used to the city's around-the-clock availability. It's important to plan ahead and check store hours before leaving home to make sure that the business you need will be open. This leads into the third thing I hate about living in the suburbs. There's less accessibility to places that are only in the city. While we do have a lot of options for food, shopping, and entertainment in the suburbs, we do not have everything that you can find in Chicago. This means sometimes you have to venture into the city to find what you want or need. One of the top things I travel to the city for the most is entertainment. While there are often events going on in the suburbs, the main events always happen in the city. This means to see your favorite singer, band, or comedian, you have to drive out to the city, probably sit in traffic, and find and pay for parking. The fourth thing I hate about living in the suburbs is the commute. Most people do not live super close to work. This means that there can be a pretty long commute to work. If you live in the suburbs but work in the city, with rush hour traffic, you can expect it to take up to 2 hours or sometimes even longer for you to drive to work every day. Even if you work in the suburbs, you may experience rush hour traffic and have a long commute to and from work. If you live by the highway, this may be able to help your commute. However, if the highway is a toll road, that's an extra expense that you'll need to budget for each month. The fifth and final reason I hate living in the Chicago suburbs is the weather. The Chicago area is known for its crazy weather. It can be sunny and warm one day and then cold and snowy the next. Chicagoland natives joke about having a second winter. This is when we get a few nice days in the beginning of the year, so it seems like spring has come, and then second winter comes in with more cold weather. In the winter, it's difficult to do things outside due to the cold, and when there's a snowstorm, it's hard to go out anywhere due to the roads being snowy and icy. The weather can also change drastically throughout the day. In the spring and fall, it's smart to wear layers so you can be warm in the morning when it's cold and then stay cool in the afternoon when it warms up. Then you're also prepared for when it gets cold again in the evening. One of the worst things you can do is wear a heavy sweater or forget your jacket. You may be comfortable when you leave home, but by the end of the day, you could end up being too hot or too cold. Now that you've heard the top 5 reasons why I hate living in the Chicago suburbs, you may be interested in where the cheapest places to live in the Chicago suburbs are. Check out my next video where I'll talk about where to buy a home in the Chicago suburbs for less than $250,000. If you have any questions about the Chicago suburbs, feel free to drop a comment, send me an email, or give me a call. I'm happy to tell you what you'd like to know.